All right, welcome to Intro to Mediumship. We're just gonna ask our guide some question about mediumship that we can each receive our answers and develop our own relationship to mediumship. For myself, 1999, when I had lost everything, I was hardly hanging on to a job. My health was really bad. Marriage was over. Outcast by culture, I lost everything. 2 little kids, and was studying the sexual abuse recovery work, which was just awful process. I was at Crescent Beach, sat and had a cry. And after having had a cry, I was calm and quiet. And in that moment, I heard a voice. The voice said, "Teach intuition." That was it. And I said, "Sure. What is it?" No answer. So at that moment, I made a choice. Yes, I will. I didn't realize it. And from that point on, everything that's happened in my life for where I am today is as a result of that choice to teach intuition, which I knew nothing about. I wasn't allowed to read any books. I wasn't allowed to learn from any human teachers. I was supposed to go through the process. And because I knew I had to teach it, I was observing the process, which turns out, as I am discovering about myself, my gift and passion is process. So my own gift was being developed so that I knew how to teach everything. And then in 2016, February, I met the first assistance group, meeting Mary and Jesus for the first time, just discovered Divine Truth a year and a half before that. And Jesus said, in passing, you can ask for God's feelings on any issue. And I went, hold the presence. Wait, did you just say? And he moves on to other topic. And I'm just like, I'm still stuck there. Like, wait, did you what? Did you say what? Basically, it felt like, here's 1-800 number to God. Pick it up anytime, all the time. So again, I made a choice without realizing it, but I really started to go for that concept of I can ask for God's feelings on anything, anytime. How? So I started developing that desire. And then as I started confronting addictions, I am being very mediumistic, get really hammered by spirits. And the one thing that keeps me steady is I will stand up to all of these projections and say, I only want God's truth about this issue, and I'm not listening to anybody else. If I can't receive God's truth right now, that's okay, but I will not listen to anybody. And that's a lot of confidence. That's a lot of strength and courage and protection. Basically, it's a protection because I have a way of accessing, or will have a way of accessing, God's feelings. I made a choice. So these simple little choices you make can have profound impact. And it took me another year or two to realize how mediumistic I really am. I didn't think I was. And it's only taken to this year to start to own that I do kind of have this gift. Don't want it, don't care for it, still not appreciating it, but I have it. So, but I also believe that mediumship is basically your ability to receive feelings and thoughts and ideas and inspiration from your guides and God, which I feel like, well, that's everybody. Because from what I'm learning from the book study, Through the Mist, God had always intended to constantly be able to give us inspiration. It wasn't like God gave inspiration, it was put in some books, and that's it. It's done. That's not how it was done at all. It's supposed to be an ongoing dialogue and development, and kind of like the information would continue to evolve depending on our level of development. So mediumship is kind of I guess, like breathing. And in this group, what I hope to do is to speak to spirits that can benefit, that can learn, that can grow, spirits that are stuck. And from what I've learned, they're more open to listening to people that are still in physical form they believe us more than they do their guides, because the guides appear too beautiful or healthy. I don't know. I mean, they just don't trust them as much. And if we're still in some emotional quandary ourselves, then they relate, they feel like we get them. So that creates an openness to hearing us out. And all we have to do in our mediumship with spirits is to engage in the conversation and then bring in the guides to resolve the issue. Pass them on. That's the work. But before we start with any of that, for today, I've received some questions that we can ask our guides so that we can develop our own understanding about mediumship. That's where I want to start today. So, questions, comments, inspirations? Okay. So the first question that we can ask our guides is, how can mediumship help our spirit friends, our spirit brothers and sisters who have passed away and are now in spirit form? How can mediumship help spirit friends? If you want to receive the answers and then come back, we'll continue. All right, who would like to share the answers for how can mediumship help our spirit brothers and sisters? Who wants to start? Selena, and then Michaela. We either start or end with Selena.
You can always start with me. I just don't need to always be first.
Oh,
You know. Anyway. Well, it's just I don't even know how much of this is my guide or just stuff that I know from my own experience, you know.
yeah.
Just knowing that someone on earth can talk to them, for me, and it's like, oh wow, you can talk to me.
Yeah.
Just feels so good for them, and it helps them see why they're stuck where they are, that there's hope for something different, like that this isn't it.
Yeah.
Like the belief
Right.
systems they have, this is it.
Yeah.
This is all there is. I'm stuck here. This isn't what I thought. I didn't even know there was such a thing as something after death, and now I'm here. It's kind of not so nice, but you know. So
Yeah.
there's just so many misconceptions and just lack of knowledge, and it's just good for them to know that someone cares enough about them to want to talk to them.
Exactly. And how frightening it must be for you to go, is this it? Like,
Yeah,
I'm stuck here.
And sometimes they're terrified and they're like, what's going on?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. Thank you. Michaela?
This morning I had a session with Boris, and he's a therapist, and he was really offering me compassion and giving me detailed mirroring around, I'm so sorry that such and such happened. And I was reminded of that, and I felt like by giving these people like validation and a listening ear and a recognition of what they have experienced and validating it, it really, I got the sense it brings them back into themselves rather than running on the addictive urge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. And that is quite a gift to give. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Others? Virginia?
We can help them build some trust with their own guides.
Yeah.
And then
Huge.
let them do what needs to be done.
Well, from that point on, off they go. Once they had developed that relationship, like, wow. Yeah. That is like a lifeline right there. The rest of their life will begin to grow and grow and grow to their ability to be willing to feel. Yeah, thank you. Jill.
I kind of got very similar to what everybody else was saying, but yeah, like the live examples is what they called it or whatever, that they can talk to people on Earth. and
Yeah.
have that communication.
Yeah.
That this work isn't only supposed to happen in the spirit world, it can happen here on earth as well.
Yeah.
As that example.
Okay.
Gives them inspiration to be able, like, new thoughts, new ideas, new questions to ask, which is, our favorite questions of why. And like Selena put it, like, it shows them that they're not stuck and they don't have to stay in the same spot forever.
Huge. Because once that emotion enter you, the belief about death and afterlife, once it enters you emotionally, it's got quite a force. Yeah, thank you. Casey, I'm curious what you got, Casey.
Just before I share my answer, I just want to say my internet is unstable today for some reason. So if it gets bad, I'll turn off my camera. So pretty similar to kind of what most people got. The biggest thing that I kept seeing is it's like we're lighting the way through the fog.
Oh, wow.
Like they just can't see anything based on everything, like kind of weighing on them. It kind of compacts and it locks them into that space, and they can't see anything else. But this part I didn't understand, I think, because I'm still learning. We're still familiar to them. And I have a feeling it's maybe due to condition and sphere, like being the first sphere, so they can still kind of connect with us.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. And then the other thing that I thought was interesting is also that something, and you and I have done this a couple times, where something that I'm feeling or you're feeling is what they're avoiding.
Yeah.
And there's a connection emotionally.
Yeah. It's a perfect storm right there. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. Oh, Michael, did you have it? Go ahead, Michael.
I was pulled away from the question, but I would answer it by saying it creates some sympathy and some connection. So there's a feeling of friendliness and maybe not aloneness. And I'm curious about what Casey got, about that fog, because maybe there's a little bit of brightness around us that they can see that I've never thought of the physical aspect. Maybe there's something that makes them curious.
I'm also wondering, because when we haven't decided to do mediumship, our guides are right there helping us and helping bring them to us. And that will make us bright because our guides are bright. So wonder if that will then create the attraction, create the opportunities, the openings. Like, our guides are very involved in mediumship work. So that would definitely, you got to create the attraction and the like this way, to us for the conversations. Okay, thank you. Next question is, how can doing mediumship help me as well? I'll be right back. All right, so who would like to share the answer to the question, how can mediumship help me as well? Jazz.
I am in some pretty heavy addictions about being taken care of.
Okay.
And so
I mean, you're confronting the addiction from the sound of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But from the last question, how can our mediumship help our spirit friends? My first thing was, what about me? How's it going to help me?
Yeah.
So I laughed at the second question.
Yeah.
And so I got, you won't be so afraid of life. Your faith will flourish. You'll have so many students, and I love to teach. So you'll have so many students. You'll have tons of help on all sorts of topics. And then I got, haha, you thought you were a know-it-all now? Wait and see.
Oh, guys. Oh,
just like a little bit of teasing.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
I got like gardening, food sovereignty support, and indigenous wisdom.
Oh, wow. How's that for carrots? A whole bunch of them, right? Okay, thank you. Michael?
The answer that came to me related to my just asking this question,
Yeah.
which is still mediumship. It didn't, so it was about me connecting with my guide. And
Yeah.
I got that it creates a connection, or it clarifies or purifies an existing connection that I have with my guide, which my soul feels.
Okay.
And then I feel my guide's confidence and his separateness from me, so that I get confused. Is it me or someone else?
Yeah.
So I think overall it will tend to make me it will tend to clarify me or clear me, like clear my vibration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you remember last week when you asked a question, Michael, that you had such clarity of your guide's feelings about the answer. Do you remember last week? Yeah, about prayer. It was like I could really feel you distinct. You felt very like, this is my guide's distinctive emotion. And it was very nice to feel such, you were very confident about what you were feeling, and that it was your guide's feelings and his confidence. So it was, yeah,
I'm
definitely.
nodding my head, but I forgot all about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Thank you. Mikhail?
So many ways. It's a great question to connect to the
Okay.
truth. Yeah. I got one way is that we're making a choice to meet our guides in their realm. So that's automatically opening up a whole nother experience for us.
Yeah.
I also got like, I really enjoy helping people honestly, and when I do it with spirits, they're much less resistance to what I have to say. So there's more of a flow of truth between us, which is exciting. And also that, God doesn't do anything for one purpose. So whoever's coming to me for me to help them, it's going to help me just as much as it's going to help them. Yeah.
But then you start to see how God is doing, like what Casey was speaking about earlier. Like, what a coincidence. I was just tapping into that emotion and guess who showed up? Like, you start to develop confidence in God's nature and start to, have faith. Thank you. Selena.
Oh, there's lots, but one thing that comes up for me lately that I've been getting a lot of help with, well, for quite a few months now, is the people that I don't attract in terms of mediumship, how that's showing up injuries in me. Okay, so maybe it's angry men, or maybe it's Black people, or maybe it's gay people, or gay, whatever the group is, the injury that I have. So when I heal injuries, and I can attract them, like they're not going to want to come talk to me if I have injuries around them, around their stuff. So it helps. So when you have a real earnest desire to know what's blocking you, like I've had some pretty good feedback on that, on who I'm missing. Like most of the people in spirit world aren't white, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So if you're just seeing white people, you've got some problems. You got to work on that.
That's beautiful when you're humble enough to see, like, why do I not get all this other group of people? That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Can
and there's
expose your injury.
so many, depending on their emotions, or so many things. Their gender identity, their race, there's lots of reasons why you could block
trauma background.
People. Yeah. So unless they're just like you're blocking the rest of them, that doesn't work very well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Virginia, I'm curious. I know you're new to all this. I just want to give you some extra confidence there.
I got three things. Receiving truth was one primary one that
you love that.
I do. And I know that not every spirit will give me truth, but I certainly my teachers and God does.
Exactly.
Access to information that's not available on Earth.
Yeah.
And It's so valuable to receive a different perspective. Spirit sees us in a totally different way than we can see ourselves, or that we can see each other.
Yeah.
And so that's really valuable.
Absolutely. The beauty of facilitating conversation between, so when we all have different styles, like I see Robin facilitate mediumship differently based on her nature and her boundaries, and then I have a different style myself. And I usually, being emotionally very volatile, I tend to listen to them and then I go, you know what, I kind of agree with you. I have some answers for this. God, how would you resolve this one? I see where the spirit is stuck. I kind of agree with her issue and her anger. Help us solve this. So now I'm all ears to like, what's going to happen next? And then you start to receive or witness the answers coming from guides and God. And you get to experience answers in a way I'm not open to in my own physical life. And it really opens your eyes because you're getting the feelings, you're getting the visions. Yeah, and that kind of truth, when it enters you, you can't undo it. So yeah, the journey of that could be exciting for you. Yeah, thank you. Others who wants to share before we move on? Okay, so the next question is, how can mediumship help planet Earth and its inhabitants? I just want to go back to the answer I got for the question about how can mediumship help me as well. I have connected to a passion that when I see false beliefs in people and how it hurts them, I almost feel like a surgeon. I feel like I want that removed. Like I get part of my own nature is beginning to become more developed in seeing how false belief is like an illness, like a disease, and seeing how much these false beliefs are hurting and affecting our spirit friends. I'm becoming more passionate myself that it's the false beliefs you got to go for. You got to help people remove them. And maybe a couple of 100 years down the road, I could be one of those surgeons that get to like remove it. I get really excited and passionate and upset when I see false belief and how it just wrecks humans, wrecks us in our environment. So that's how it's helping me. And so how can mediumship help planet Earth and all of its little babies living on it? What you guys get? Michael.
Okay. It feels like there's a weight or a heaviness around us from the spirit world, and it can begin to make Swiss cheese out of it, permeate it, lighten it.
That's right.
I think there's a separation that exists between the living and the dead. Like once you die, you've lost your connection here. And it's not something that I think about, but I think it's very obvious to the people that have passed. So I think it would begin to heal that great separation.
Yeah. Their life is now supposed to move on into another direction and not to just hang around here. Is that what you mean?
No, it means they're not estranged from us, that they're not left alone, that we're still all one family.
Yes. Okay, got it.
And then healing. So, healing, of course, and then healing family lines, and you can begin to work with your own family once you have some mediumship. And then for me personally, I would love to be able to publish stories like living with my parents who are elderly. I'd like to have I can't tell them things and ask them to believe it, but I could present a story about life just on the other side, or how this life affected that. So that's how mediumship, what I would value from mediumship.
because you could channel somebody's story who's passed, and then that becomes a story to share. Yeah, absolutely.
Print someone else, create a forum for somebody else's story.
That's a beautiful one. Thank you. Jill.
On that, Michael, I just had a thought. It was like children's books for seniors.
You have elderly parents, right? You gotta
Right.
like, Jill
Yeah.
also have elderly parents,
And-
so yeah.
And when you write them, I want a copy. So I can give it to them.
Read it to them.
Okay, so got really excited about this question.
Okay.
Was like, the first thing that came to mind was like, oh boy, you get all the help. It's like, like
Oh.
knowledge on how to take care of Earth and how to fix it, which
yeah.
I judged because it had fix it in it. I judged that one, but that's okay. How to take care of planet Earth, how to take care of each other, how to live in harmony with each other, stopping harm, sin, that kind of thing. And then it was like just living in love. I mean, that would be amazing
Wow.
here on
Mhm.
Earth.
Yeah. Thank you.
How we get there, I have no idea, but that's kind of, I guess, what mediumship could do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking on the fix it judgment, when you have an addiction and an issue, you also have a gift in that. So as you release the addiction of fixing it, at some point you're going to tap into your gift of fixing it. You can't, it's not done with you. Like this, there's the other side. So yeah, thank you. Selena.
Well, once we get enough mediums practicing, there won't be as much dark influence on the earth, so people won't be getting as much help with their addictions, so they can kind of see themselves a little truer way without getting help with the addictions. They're on their own, right? With them.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
spirits are not helping to lock in into their
It
addiction.
reinforces them
good point.
and justify them, rationalize them, all the things that they help
Yeah.
do. And the other thing too, and also feeling like doing mediumship, like feeling other people's spirit guides for people and how they feel about them, and how they, particularly for people that are really mentally ill or hard to reach, hard to talk to, hard to, like feeling their guides. I that helps me a lot. So I feel like that's a real great positive benefit.
Huge. Okay, thank you. Michaela.
I got that it normalizes something that is completely essential and tangible to our existence. So the more that we can actually normalize this aspect of ourselves, the more it's going to contribute to people that are just stuck in the physical reality.
Okay, the more we normalize talking to spirits, seeing the spheres, and that the message I got was that all these spheres are already available to us. Because I like to think I'm in this earth realm, and then after I pass, there are all these spheres I need to move up to. When they're saying, no, those spheres are already here, available. That spirit realm is already available to me now, and that was a bit overwhelming. So when we normalize it, sorry, what was it you said again? Then other people will also, I guess, get not as locked into their belief that Earth life is everything. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
It becomes a part of our physical world in a way that it is.
Yeah. Good point. That would be something to see. It's like the way we talk to each other. Everybody talks like that. Can you imagine? Parts of me that I still hide from the main world. Thank you, Michaela. Casey.
Thanks for saying normalize, Michaela, because there was a piece of the message that I got that I didn't understand until you said normalize. And then I was like, that's what it is. So within that, I just felt that when it's kind of normalized like this, like as we're having this conversation, we can connect better with God. We can connect better with our guides. we connect
Right.
better with each other. Like there's a deeper understanding of ourselves. There's curiosity, all of those
Yeah.
innate nature things that we have kind of come forward.
Good point.
I felt, because you said all of the inhabitants, so I felt about the animals as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt that God's love could come through clearer to them as well, and to the plants and the earth. Like the earth felt lighter. I think Michael said that at the beginning as well, that there's a lighter feeling.
Yeah. Wow. That's very enticing. Thank you. Virginia.
Yeah, I like the word normalizing, and that's part of what I see. But also removing the fear with that humanity, a lot of humanity has around connecting with spirits, even though that they're all around us.
Yeah.
They're right here with us. And recently I've really started to see how much fear there is around that.
Oh yeah. Good.
Yeah, a friend of mine does channeling, but she does the trance channeling, where you actually hear the voice of the spirit that's speaking through her.
Yeah.
And people, oh yeah, that sounds really interesting. When I actually explain what they're going to, what it's like, they're like freaked out. Like, no, I'm not ready for that. No way. I don't want to. I don't want to see that. So I thought, wow, you're curious, but your fear is overriding your curiosity right now, because
Bingo.
it's not. Yeah.
Fear numb desires. You gotta release the fear. Yeah. When I went for my first mediumship session with Robin, I was supposed to just observe for a while, and I'd always said I would never step back and channel a spirit. Like, no way. And she looked at me and said, well, you're going to channel a spirit. And I was like, this is my first session. What do you mean? And what do you mean channel? Like, I'm going to get possessed or whatever my fears were. And she just dropped me into it and said, she's like, how do you not see how mediumistic you are? I'm like, I don't, but I channeled. And that was it. Like, she just threw me into it and I did it. And it's like, oh, I didn't know I could. So fears were definitely blocking. Definitely. Thank you. Good one. Michael.
I really like resonate. I mean, I really like normalize too, that Michaela said. And the way it blossomed in me was, part of our nature is to be mediumistic, and we've got it shut down, or it's like we don't know how to use it. It's kind of corrupted. So when we heal that, that's gonna bring some greater healing as an effect of that.
Absolutely. Like, it's like what Michaela has pointed out has made me curious with, like, because it's just going to keep influencing everyone without even realizing it. Like, what could that potentially do? Absolutely. Thank you. Jess?
I kind of jotted some things down, and as everyone's been speaking, they've like been more fully formed. And so I'd written down like access to information, solving major problems, i.e. like ask the ancient Egyptians or like ask your ancestors. And what I realized is that, oh, it's Google, but you don't need Google. And so all these technologies that we have, like your phone, it's like, no, we're telepathic. We're like, we'll meet each other in our dreams. So all of these technologies, physical technologies, they're our gifts, and we won't need to rely on those things.
They're inspired by something else.
Sorry?
They're inspired by something else.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, we can slowly release our perceived reliance on those things and exercise these muscles instead. I got healing, inspiration, and collaboration, and then death doula work. And so transitioning to the spirit world as a beautiful rite of passage. And then also the transition from birth into being on earth. So as a sacred ceremony, because we're connecting to folks on both sides through these rites of passage. And then just a side note, Michael, when you start channeling these stories, I'd love to like make that into a TV show, Life on the Other Side. And so you could be then putting these ideas out mainstream, right? So to plant the seeds in the consciousness. But I was talking to Jill about this, and like, I've got some addiction there where I want to manipulate people into believing it. So I need to like sneak the vegetables into the food, you know? So So as much as I joke about that, I realize my own addiction there, but
all right. We got easily 1,000 addictions each. Gotta get used to it at some point. It's just another one in the factory. Just right, Bird? Michael?
Jess, I want to turn around and sow that seed you planted, and Jill too. And so anybody that's watching this, you know, that comes across this video, pick it up and run with it.
Yep, go for it. Like what dreams may come. Jesus have said that that's pretty much what it's like. Yeah. So wow. Okay. My answer was that the fear that's locked in most all of us human beings, there's a lot of fear locked in us, also attract fearful spirits, and he has created this heaviness that a lot of us have felt today. And by addressing the issues, many spirits grow, they lift, and then some of them come back and help us out. Some of them then get inspired and like, oh, I know how to solve that. Or, oh, turns out they have a gift in that issue, and then they come and share their gifts. And I received something like, as they forgive, repent, and receive God's love and mercy, something from them radiate back to earth. And like, what does that mean? I don't know what it means, but something radiates back to earth. I'm just thinking, is it from descendants? Is it? I don't know what it means. I just got curious, but there was just like this answer that as each of them heal and repent, and especially feeling God's mercy, something about it, like the wind blows back and onto the earth from their healing. So definitely, there's more that happens here than we can understand. Okay, so next question is, what blocks do I need to work through to improve my mediumship? Okay, so what blocks do I need to work through to improve, or for some to start my mediumship? What you guys get? Virginia?
Fear of judgment.
Oh, like what? What kind of judgment?
That I'm wrong, that I'm not any good at it. And, yeah.
Okay. And you could feel the feeling, right? So you can start to work through the emotion.
Right. Yep.
I know. We do have to process the experience of judgment itself. Like, it's very painful to be judged, and it can be done. It's very painful. It does make you become more sensitive to judging yourself.
Well, some of it is my own judgment.
Oh, okay. Yikes. Okay. It's like, ooh, false belief. I want to remove that from you. I can feel the surgeon in me going, get it out.
Please get the scalpel, whatever, you just
Out.
Get it.
Totally. Thank you. Selena?
But one of the things that always surprises me sometimes is when they believe me. So
The spirits.
the spirits believe me. Oh, wow, you believe that? I'm not sure I even really, truly, completely believe it. You believe me. So it's that, like, working on my own faith, like when I say to them, God loves you, that I actually absolutely believe emotionally, not just intellectually, that God loves you, so that they believe me, because then it's just so much easier for them to change or to see something different.
Yeah.
Right. When they can feel that my faith.
Yeah.
So
And your faith come from your experience, from knowing.
yeah, so to keep being aware of that and so I wouldn't really call that a huge block. It's just to constantly remind myself to be aware of that's really important.
Well,
That-
it is the block, because if you think
Yeah.
about it, if they're calling it out, then you have to go, once this block is, if I don't have this block, how much more will have been happening?
Yeah, because sometimes if there's somebody who's really resistant, that's all you got is your faith in what you're doing, that this is real and this is going to help you and you can change. And if they can't feel in you the faith that can happen, they're going to say, screw it. I can feel it. You don't really believe that. So, yeah.
Yeah, if they bring it up as an issue, then there's something there.
Yeah.
Must have a significant impact. And once it's released, must have a significant impact in the other direction. Thank you. Jess.
I was so blocked to the first question that I already started to answer this one. I was
Okay.
like, oh, I can't feel anything. What's the block? What's the block? And I got that my addiction to feeling superior blocks me.
Okay.
And being superior to others, I'm afraid of then feeling like I'm crazy or that I'm going to be cast out and alone because now I'm outing myself as the weirdo who talks to spirit. So like I have this addiction to keep from feeling all that I'm better than everyone else. I'm more superior. I'm smarter than them. And so, yeah, that's the big block there. And that if I then dive into this, I can't go back to the real world. Like that's it.
Good one.
That, like even right now, I'm kind of floating in limbo and I'm terrified of what's going to happen next. So I'm like, oh, am I just going to have to go get a real job? Which I haven't done in the past year. And I was like, I know now I won't even have that option to go back and do the thing that I don't desire as the safety net. Now I won't ever be able to do that because I'll just be too weird.
Okay.
And
Good
and
one.
then
there's a team here.
And and then it went into fear of attack from spirits, and fear of angry ancestors. And attacking me for revealing their secrets. But then I think I started to channel them.
I was just gonna go, you're already pretty mediumistic there, Jess. You just don't know it yet.
So then I got, oh, but they can only harm me if I'm in agreement with them. They're attacking because they're terrified of the consequences of what they've done. But then I said, but you realize where you are now is the consequence. So you can just admit it and then heal from it. And then I was like,
you already begun your conversation.
Your guides are there. They'll help you. And then
there you go.
So I was like, oh, what just happened?
Exactly. And some of the spirit attacks are usually not just because, it could be because you're in an agreement, but also because what you haven't released. So I guess that is agreement, isn't it? So if I have fear of being judged, then I have spirits that judge me because I haven't released it. So I guess in a way that is agreement. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Jess. Okay. Enrique, I just want to give Enrique a chance here. You don't know how to get the button earlier. Hi, Enrique.
Hello. I got fear of getting it wrong, being good enough, emotions about deception, being deceived, grief about being ignored, sharing truth, expressing desire, self-worth, and fear of acceptance.
Beautiful. Those are a nice list of blocks right there.
Probably could have kept going too.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good way to tap into blocks that are affecting every other part of our life, not just spirit life. Thank you. Okay. Michael?
Yeah, this could have been the biggest question. I mean, the longest list for me too.
Perfect.
So I asked the question and I got the 3 C's. For me, it's courage, commitment, and compassion.
Okay.
Then I thought, well, those aren't blocks that I
Yeah.
have to get through, but so I realized I don't really want to know about the blocks. So okay, so desire for truth, desire to receive, need to increase those. So I'd say honestly, I'm self-centered and selfish. And
Okay.
I share the fear of judgment. I judge myself. And then I had a feeling of that my faith is corrupt, but really what I need is a faith that it's going to be a process, and in spite of all these things, it can work, and to not let these things be really a limit to me.
I like that.
Something a block I can pass through, not a block I'm gonna run into.
Just like our spirit friends are saying, I'm stuck here. That's it. There's no change for me, and nothing's going to happen now. It's the same feeling with our blocks of like, well, this is my block. I guess I'm stuck here now. No, it's just something to pass through.
And I remembered Afrar, like he did a lot of good when he was on the earth, but it was after he died that he published his book, and then Jesus came, and so his big things came after his lifespan.
Yeah. Yeah. But all the small steps he started while he was alive became this tsunami that just, took over. Like you don't realize at that time what big choices you're making and developing those little things. And boy, Jess, if you read through the mist, boy, was he weird. And there were things he didn't do because he said, I can't get any weirder. We just finished reading that chapter where he said, if I did that too, there's like, I will be stuck in a mental institution. They'll lock me away now. And I can't do whatever little good I am doing. You'll like the book. Yeah. He called himself a misanthrope. And we had to have a whole discussion about that word. Like, how? What? So good point. Thank you. Jill?
So I got belief in self, God, and my guides, or lack of belief. So that's my block, is that I don't have enough faith in myself, let alone faith in God or my guides.
Yeah.
And something that came up that we discussed, I think last week in prayer group, was just assume that they're there. Like assume that God is good. I just assume God is good, which has been life-changing, by the way. So just assume that they're there and see where it takes you, right? And that
was my guide telling me that. That was a mediumship experience where my guide said to me, why don't you just assume this? And it changed my life.
Right. And then of course, attacks by, I'm more afraid of attacks by spirits than I'm attacked by people. I get attacked by people all the time here on earth, but I'm afraid of being attacked by spirits because I can't see them, can't see it coming, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I have lots of stories about that one, but it's not because I did mediumship. I'm already mediumistic. I'm already experiencing attack. But by doing mediumship, I started to develop truth and resiliency in how to respond. Because you learn a lot of truth from that. Yeah, thank you. Michaela?
I'm in the journey at the moment of like really allowing myself to express my rage towards God. And I really felt that, if I can come through that, then so many things will enhance in my life. But mediumship will definitely be one of them.
Okay. Yeah. So you're already working through your block.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. And my answer was, it works. Mediumship works. It really works. It helps a lot. I can't see it. And because every time I do mediumship, I'm like, what just happened? Was that real? Did it do anything? Da, 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 da. So I guess they just went straight for the jugular with me. That it works. That is my block. And that my love and care and concern opens up people to receive and to ask, and that they believe me, they trust my sincerity. I hate when people are stuck, people are trapped. I hate it. It really gets my emotions going. And so it looks like those emotions, those motivations, those desires, they flow out of me, and I guess spirits can see and feel, they have a different experience of it than we do. And that those motivations opens them up to receive and to ask. So when we develop these motivations inside of us emotionally, it has an impact on each other. It's just that we can't see it probably. We're more blocked than spirit friends. So I gotta work through my block that I'm still questioning if it works. Weird. That I have to block. Well, actually, you know what? This block is really impacting me because I'm not doing as much mediumship as I would if I truly believed that it has the impact that I believe it does intellectually. So this block is really affecting me because it's a love-hate relationship with mediumship, and I could be doing mediumship every single day and helping lots of people, but my doubt that it works, which is an emotional thing, is blocking me. So some wheels are turning in my head. Final question to ask is, what gifts do I have to offer through mediumship? All right, who wants to start? Enrique?
I got realization of passion I have to help people learn truth and share with others, and also to assist spirits who are stuck.
Okay. And do you value that? Do you value that gift?
Yeah, they are pointing out that I already have and had burning desire for it, and it's like this is the answer. So I have it, I'm burning, and I'm kind of viewing mediumship as sometimes being a hurdle or an obstacle, but they're pointing out, no, it's the answer to the thing that you desire most.
Yeah.
And I often lose sight of that.
Exactly. It's a very good question. Our guide's so smart in the way they set up these questions. They know what to do. Thank you. Michael?
When I paused to get an answer, I went right away, oh, there's a block.
Okay, what was it?
I can't
Did you
find
get-
a good thing about myself.
Oh,
So then I thought, well,
gosh.
that's stupid. Other people can do it. So what can I do? So
Good.
The gift I have is one I don't have. That's authenticity, brutal authenticity. If I could have that, so
Okay.
I think that I have a lot of faults that could get healed and add up to brutal authenticity.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
coming as I am. So, and
Okay.
then backing off a little bit, I have two other, I have a sensitivity and a gentleness so that I'm not going to scare or harm any spirit, and they can
Yeah.
probably feel that.
Yeah.
And also I've had the experience, when you're probing for the opening, it's kind of like looking for the keyhole. You're holding the key, little key of truth, and I've found the keyhole once in a while and turned it. So I've had that feeling. So that's a gift.
Yeah. Yeah. In being able to find that opening that a spirit may have that you could get into, and the authenticity And the struggle to authenticity is in itself a gift to offer to spirits. Because then you understand why spirits are afraid to be honest with themselves, what their blocks are, and what the gifts are, what the joys are. So that is a gift to offer, because it's not just the authenticity, but why are you afraid of it? And that is basically where spirits are stuck, when you have to confront what you've done and how you really feel about stuff, and you're still trying to pretend you're not feeling those feelings. That's a lot to offer right there. Yeah. I'm very, very blocked to emotions, and then having to work so hard in earning every square inch of it, I've learned all the many blocks people may have and how to work through it. It's the best thing I have to offer. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Alice. Virginia, what did you get?
You always do that.
Blame your guides.
I got truth, connection. I kind of got stuck on connection. It's like, what is it mean? But I understand helping others connect and understanding, but I really felt like, oh, if I do this, I'm going to feel like naked, like absolutely naked.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Okay.
Doing more of this. Like I do it with, I feel safe with.
Yeah. Well, the safe is it's an illusion. Our guides already see us as we are and adore us as we are. We're just pretending we can't see, which is why every time I find a new addiction, I get all mad at myself. Then I go, but God has already known this about me, and my guides have seen this for decades. So I'm the only one going, wait, I'm a what? And I start punishing myself all over again when everybody's seen it forever. It's just me who saw it. So it's not a thing. And if they say that you give the gift of connection, then you must already have that people connect to you, which I think all of us relate to about Virginia. There's some kind of an equal playing field we feel with Virginia, that we are received as we are. I know that you have to work through your addictions, Virginia, but the gift coming out of you is already there. This feeling of equality, and you love truth. You value how much truth can help people. That's a gift. Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Don't minimize that. It's a beautiful thing to offer. Thank you. Selena.
One of the things that I kind of thought of was a guilty pleasure, but actually it's my curiosity about people. Like I really like to watch movies and different things, books, whatever, YouTube videos about people that are just marginal, you know, like they're a narcissist or they're transgender or it's a Black boy adopted into a white family, or how does that feel? I just love learning those things. How does that really feel like when people really get deep into that, how they, what you're looking at and what they're seeing out of their eyes. The rift that's there, you know. Yeah. So I really like that, and that's what they just told me, that's a gift, like your curiosity, but really wanting to know, because it really helps with mediumship. Because that often does happen in mediumship, where wow, you're not judging me. No, I'm actually really curious to know how you feel about having this particular issue that you're judging yourself so harshly for. Yeah.
And what they're getting from you is love.
Yeah. You know, like get into the head of a serial killer. Hey, they might need a medium someday too. Right?
Yeah. I mean, in mediumship, in Robin's group, like we've channeled, we channeled some hard ones that taught me more about God than anything else.
So much teaching in there.
And healed me. Like, that's part of the process. Thank you. fine. I was hoping you'd answer.
Marian. So I have a willingness to listen, willingness to be open to truth, beauty, stillness, compassion, fears, pain, and to go into those areas deeply and know them. Yeah.
That's beautiful, because what you do is then you create a space in which you want to know what your guides are going to say about that. You really want to know, and you really invite the mediation of the conversation. And also in this kind of group where even though you're just watching or listening a mediumship session, your gift is already attracted the opportunities for assisting spirits. So everyone's gifts is already create this mishmash of a law of attraction, collation of gifts that invites, that allows for some things to happen. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jill, I really want to hear from you, but Casey? Go ahead, Casey.
One I've heard before, but one surprised me, simplicity.
Okay.
Yeah, and they gave me some examples of in the past when I've done this. I'm really passionate about just connecting people with their emotions, like using the word normalize again, just normalizing emotions. And what I used to say to my clients all the time was that was the only language you were born with. You weren't born with words, you were only born with emotions.
Yeah.
So bringing
And
it.
How simple is that?
Right. Yeah. Bringing it back to that sort of simplicity. And then the other one that I've heard before from you is magnification.
Oh yeah. God,
I don't understand that yet.
No.
But
yeah.
But they're like, no, magnification. And they actually showed me you saying it to me in the past.
Okay.
This is what you I don't get.
No, that absolutely. I feel like it's like even now it's like let's do some mediumship. Casey, who are you feeling? It's like it's just default. Because she will magnify my ability to see and feel what's around. Like she just has that impact. But then again, I don't know if simplicity gift is the one that does it. But there's something there. Casey's my magnet for spirit, for mediumship. If she's here, boy, things are so much easier. That's a beautiful gift. Thank you. And Jill, and then Jess, if you want to share.
So the first answer I got was none.
No. Okay. That's just you tantruming. Come on.
Yeah. So I sat there for a while, and then it was kind of pushed through children, parents. I don't want to believe it, but I don't understand it. I just got words, and then plants. So that was, and then I got a nice little image of me sitting in a big bush and just playing with the leaves and that kind of thing. So that kind of settled me down a little bit.
Okay.
Animals were added into that. But I think I got more like blocks on it, like to answer the previous question. Because like I said, like I don't believe that I am good enough for any of this. So and I judge it harshly. I judge it. And then I feel like everyone else is judging me too. Like I feel like I'm getting a lot of judgment back as well. But that's, I think, just my reflection of me judging myself.
Exactly.
Going around in circles like a dog chasing his tail. Yeah.
I've been teaching intuition since 1999, and I had to cry before today's group that who do I think I am? I don't have the authority. I had to release the emotion. How many decades has it been? So thank you.
Okay.
Jess?
Lots of emotions coming up. First I got that I'll be teaching classes to channeled spirits, and
Okay.
that I already am, and I've shown this one time in Egypt when I gave a talk on like everything physical is a manifestation of something emotional. It affects our health. And only these two young girls showed up, and it was cool, but I was like, wow, this is kind of like a failure. I was like, oh, I wasn't just talking to those girls. Like there were lots of people there. And it was shown all the times where I had workshops where there was only one or two people, and that was not the point.
There were a lot
So
of other
then,
people there. Is that what they were
yeah.
showing you? Yeah, okay.
So like that, and so that made me really emotional. And then you'll always have an answer to questions like, hello, Gemini, curiosity gold mine. And then you will know what to plant and where. You'll find medicines. You will be a medicine woman. Vision quests, songs will come to me. I'll channel ancestral healing songs. I was like,
Wow.
what?
Okay. Okay. Good. You're still innocent, just so you're able to receive the answer, and then you get a little skeptical like Jill, and then you won't hear anything.
Yeah, because I'm still like, no, I'm crazy. This is crazy. And then also I have huge blocks to singing, even though I know it's starting to come. I've been singing to Jill's dogs.
Okay.
A little bit, just like singing their names.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It
there's
comes
this
to you. Okay.
starting to come out in like, oh, the dogs. I can be silly to the dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, but otherwise totally blocked.
Okay. Thank you. All right. My answer was the first thing they said is wait till you start singing. They're working on me to sing because supposedly when I sing, and I do dedicate it to spirits and guides, and I do kind of just mentally dedicate songs to them. But the first thing I got was a tease. Wait till you start singing. So the gifts I offer is that in my belief that God works. Engaging God works. I have feeling that God is real. Her love is real. His words and promises are real. Let's engage it. Let's engage God and God's ideas and theories and promises and see what happens. The proof is in the pudding. Let's engage, and then something will happen, and then that will convince, that will build your faith. That's the gift I offer, and that is very emotional. Just like Enrique, it's like, whoa, wait, that is part of my passion, and it's working. It's there. It's helping. It's doing stuff. So by connecting to this question, you're connecting to kind of a part of your own nature that you believe in. You believe in the gift you offer. It means a lot to you. So Jill, it means a lot to you to offer a gift to parents and children. It means a lot to you. You value that about yourself. You start to give yourself self-approval. You start to value who you are and what you have to give. So hopefully this set of questions will put a bit of passion and fire under you to the why. Why do mediumship? What is it that it does for you, for everybody around you? What starts to develop from you? These set of questions were about developing the why. Why do it? And I do want to do maybe a short mediumship session if people still have the juice for it. How's everybody doing? Another 15 is okay. If you need to leave, no worries, you can leave. But I am going to stop the recording. I'm not yet ready to publicly share mediumship at this point. Just like Jess, I'm like, well, that will be the end of me. As somebody to be believed, that will be the end of my career. So those are my looks. I will stop this now.